Oh no! Buttercup fell down! Oh, she's getting back up! She's getting back up! She's getting back up! Oh, she's back up! She's back up! Oh, she fell down again! She's getting back up again! Oh, she fell down again. She got up again. We're gonna see Captain Marvel today, and apparently she does fall a bajillion times for some reason. I'm curious why. Why? Random fact, I've had this Powerpuff Girl and the other two for like, I don't know, like 15, 18, 20? How old is the Powerpuff Girls? I've had these forever. I won these at a fair. I don't even remember what I did to win these at a fair. But I won these at a fair. And so I've had them forever, and they just... Time has not been kind to them all that much. Like, they're very faded. Extremely faded. I don't even know, like, is there a way to... Like, there's probably no way, right? You have to just replace everything. It's like just completely rebuilding a car. You just replace each part. You can't just clean this up because it's just faded and scratched out, I assume. Because, like, original Kirby, which we've seen many times, the one that sits on Bessie, he's like, oh my god, 7 years old? Maybe 8 years old? He's a very old Kirby. It's my first plushie Kirby. It was him. It was a birthday present from an old girlfriend. And he's old and faded. And I'm curious, can you just dip him back into some color and make him pink again? Or you would just have to completely replace his outside? And then it goes back to the whole... If you've never heard this philosophy, it's the Argus. Is it the Argus or the Argo? Whichever word is correct for the Argonauts, chasing the Argonauts. If you replaced every piece of wood of that ship, is it still the same ship? That's the question there. And you can argue the same thing about humanity, because every cell in our body eventually regenerates. The only thing probably that sticks around the whole time might be hair, because I don't think it works the same way as our cells in our body. So the question is, are we still us when every single cell in our body is replaced? That's an interesting question. And it's just an interesting question that and we're not going to dive into, but that's an interesting question for sure. And how many people are taking me seriously right now while holding a Buttercup? Who is my favorite, by the way? Buttercup's the best one. The other two are awesome, but Buttercup's the best one, for damn sure. God, I don't look serious at all. Let me just put this over here. What are we talking about? Okay, we finished Metro Exodus, so the recording of it, at least, the LP is going to be going for a little bit. It's definitely maybe a 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 kind of game. It's not perfect in any way. Great graphically, but there's so many bugs and hiccups all over the place. Some things that do take you out of the game. Atmospherically, it's really good. Visually, it's really good. Music's not bad. The voice works pretty good. Like, the characters together are really great. The writing's good because it is based on a book, so of course that's going to be good. Gameplay is pretty good as well. I like it. But there's just all these little hiccups that ruin it. And that puts it down to like an 8 or a 7. And you get why it's more open-worldly, because that's just how the book is. Like, in the first two books, like, you're just in the metro, so it can be way more linear. Well, you're over the metro at times, but you're still going along a track pretty much. In this one, you're going all over the place in Metro Exodus, so you get why it's more open-worldy, and I just don't know if that's good or bad, just dealing with that. Like, it's fun, but they're just little sandboxes, not a lot going on there. But it's still a pretty good game, but I don't know. Not sure, but it ends up being like a 7, 8 out of 10 for sure. Not a great game, but a good game for sure. Thinking back, because I don't think I ever talked about Resident Evil 2, you could give it the same criticisms, like the fact that both characters go through the same areas and they're not affected by the previous character and stuff like that. I'd say it's another 8 out of 10 game as well. Resident Evil 2 is really fun, it's really good, but there are things about it that could be better. And there were just some bugs that got in our way a little bit. But for the most part, it's pretty good. I'd say it's more of an 8 out of 10, while Metro is more of a 7 out of 10. For sure. Definitely. Smash is 10 out of 10, because of course it is. The next LP after Metro Exodus... Well, okay, so Resident Evil 2 should end around, like, early April. And then we're going to get into Sekiro, which is the new game from the people who made Dark Souls. So we'll see... So we'll be doing that to replace Resident Evil 2. At some point, we'll get back to the voice LPs. That's probably when we finally stop playing Smash. That's probably when it's going to happen. The problem is, I'm still enjoying Smash. There's still a lot of classics to do. I'm just enjoying Smash. And you do what you enjoy, right? The voice work, of course, we'll come back to that eventually, but that's where I'm at right now. And it's going to be Layton before we finally do Chrono Trigger. I assume we'll do Layton and Chrono Trigger this year. There's nowhere going to take that long to get to it. I just don't know if we're going to be able to do anything beyond that, especially after Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger is going to be a very long LP because it's Chrono Trigger. I'm wondering if there's a way, probably not, since we're going to probably just use a ROM of it. If there was a way to make it, you got like double XP or something so that we're still having some goodish fights, but I don't want us to get stuck in grinding. Because it's just me and not bantering, I feel like we might have to just cut some of the grind out. I guess that's the only thing we can do is just cut some of the grind out, right? Like, we'll just go through, and if we get to a point where we get stuck, like basically we're just going to be running straight to things, which means it's going to be struggle matches at certain points. And I guess we'll have to have multiple save states or something. And when we get to a wall, I'll just go grind off camera and then come back. I think that's just the only way we can do it. But there is just a lot of running around and talking to people for side quests and things like that too. So we'll see. We will see on that one. That does make me think about some of the more tactical RPGs, like, because I do want to eventually do maybe like Shining Force 1 and 2. Those are pretty good. And those games don't have like repeatable free modes. Like, you just level as you go. And you're able to just, and it's a tight game. Like, it's something I think about with just old design is games where you don't grind, you just go forward, and you're able to just have a really good squad and stuff. And this, of course, like Fire Emblem and things like those, back when they didn't have free modes. Where the game was just, I guess, tightly wound in a way that you could have viable, good games just playing through one going. I mean, just one run through. No free modes to give you grind, which is so interesting when a game is able to pull off not needing to grind. Like, Octopath Traveler was pretty good about that for the most part. The later chapters you need to grind a bit, but the first chapters, the boss fights are really tight, they're really good, and you don't need to grind at all. But like the third and fourth chapters for each character, you need to grind a bit for them, unfortunately. Which you don't need to grind as much if you can just balance out who you're putting into the teams and such as you're going through each character. But yeah, pretty good. Anything else to talk about? Not really. Doing Jackbox again this Saturday. Today. After that, I want us to not do Jackbox for at least one weekend, and then we'll maybe go back to it. So I'll see. I'll make a vote for things that aren't Jackbox, see what people want to do, and then we'll go back to it. As far as indies go, oh god, I'm gonna try to focus on one indie a week. Like, maybe earlier in the week, just go through a couple indie games, see which ones I actually like, and then just pick one and work on it a little bit. Then at the end of the week, find one I like, and then record it, and then at some points Jinx will edit it in, and we'll have that. Because it'd be great to do indies again. What was very interesting, an article that came up, was the finding that things really changed. In 2016, 2017, the top 10 influencers, when it came to gaming, they played like 200, 300 games. They played a crap ton of games. But in 2018, the average went down very far, down to like 24, 28 games. They only played less than 30 games in a year, the top 10 influencers. And part of it is who the top 10 influencers are, because it's not the same ones every year. It's only actually two from 2017 to 2018. Only two of them were the same. And then the rest were new people. So you could argue it is not just channel shifting, but also the audience shifting to things that they want to see more of. It's also just whatever these games are. Like, Fortnite's definitely a game that's getting a lot of focus, so that's one of these 20 plus games. And then it's just the big releases as well. And it's interesting to see that and to realize that we kind of done the same thing, where we've slowed down, because we do like 100 or plus 100 to 200 games a year. We definitely did because of all the indies we've covered. And it's really gotten cut down. It got really cut down to 2018. And now how many games have we really covered so far this year? We're only in March, of course, but we've probably only covered, I don't know, like 10, 15 games right now? And that's way slower than before, because usually we do probably twice that number by now. And it's just the nature of how ridiculous I've been about that. It's what's the word here? It's something that I worry about for when it comes to like the indies. That's where I really worry more than anything is the indies, because there are just tons of indies coming out there, and it's just hard to figure out which ones are the good ones. I've said this many times. It's hard to figure out which ones are the good ones, which ones are worth covering, which ones are worth playing, and conveying that to others. And I think that's still a worthy service. It's just, it definitely looks like people are not caring about that as much. And they really never have, really. Indies are always going to fall to the wayside. There's always going to be those darlings that do kind of well, but it's just going to be even harder now. And then there's the other problem of just all these different stores now. So Origin is pushing hard now to be a viable store against Steam, and Epic Store as well is trying to be a viable store against Steam. And Epic is actually doing free games. And by the way, if you didn't know, oh shoot, Slime Rancher is for free on Epic Store. I think there's going to be other games in the future that are going to be for free on these different platforms as well. And then Origin, of course, is doing their like Xbox Live kind of thing, where it's like for $20 a month you can get all these games and play all these games, and for $5 a month you can play these lesser ones as well. And so there's all these different things to be rivals, and that definitely is probably hurting the hell out of the indies, because they just can't compete with that, where they're one game for $5 versus all these games for $5. And like a $20 indie game that might be really good, but there's the value of just all these things plus AAA for $20 on Origin. So what are you going to do with that? And then a great game like Slime Rancher, which is really cute and really fun, I like it a lot, that's for free on freaking Epic Store. So it's getting harder for indies from what I can tell. And I've definitely seen indies and they're very worried about it. And there's also indies, like usually the ones that are more successful, they're like, it'll be fine. I don't know about that, because like they've already been successful, so they're not as worried as the people who are trying to get in there. So I don't know. It's very worrisome, I think. But I did find it interesting that we've cut down majorly on the number of games we're doing, and that's actually reflected by everyone else as well. That is such a surprise and very interesting to see that. And it's unfortunate, of course. It definitely is unfortunate that's how it is, because you want as many eyeballs on as many games, but it's not really the case. People just want to know about these specific things. So it's too bad. That's one of the things that probably why I liked when we were bigger, was that we had a bigger audience who might look at the one-shots, who might look at the indie games, and they might buy them. That I liked a lot. On occasion, we still have that where people look at the old videos and like, oh, hey, this is cool, and then they buy it and they tell me, and like, that's a pretty cool feeling to know that. But it's just a damn shame. Speaking of other things, was a nice thing that happened was a viewer 2 days ago. They went on the stream, never seen them before, and they subbed, and they were like, I really liked the Celeste LP, it was really good, that was awesome to watch, and that felt really good. It's a really good feeling. It's awesome to know people actually like your stuff and they actually tell you. You can only assume people like your stuff, but when they actually tell you, it's a bigger, better feeling. And this is why I definitely, when I follow people on Twitter and all these other things, whenever I see something I like, I let them know I like it, because it is an emotional boost for people. So I think it's not a bad idea to just do that. Let people know you like their stuff. Number of likes is just a number. It's a useful metric, but it does not feel as much as words. That's something I've definitely noticed and realized. And just something worth considering. Is there anything? I don't know. I think there's nothing really pressing right now. It's just the usual, just silliness in the world. Trump is signing Bibles, which is a very odd thing to do. Captain Marvel just came out. I'm going to see it in 2 hours. And that movie is getting bombed by trolls left and right, and it is the dumbest thing. Like, I feel like I understand. The reason why incels exist, the reason why all these just really stupid men exist, is because they mistreat women so badly, and then they like, well, where's the girls that I deserve? It's like, well, you don't deserve anything because you're a piece of crap. Like, that was a weird tangent. It's very odd It's very odd to see people be completely crap about something as dumb as, oh, hey, we finally got a female superhero movie, and then thinking that's somehow a moral superiority moment there for them. They think that it's something to rally around and something to be very self-important about. It's a very odd thing. They're like SJWs and all that stuff. It's very weird. It's extremely weird. It's very small-minded. It is peanut-sized in mindedness because it's frankly just pathetic. I think it's obvious to all of us. I rather think my community is level-headed here, but it's very weird how dumb this is every single time it happens. Because what is it? On Rotten Tomatoes right now, Captain Marvel has 58,000 viewer reviews, and they're bombing the hell out of it. And the movie's only been out for like a day? Whereas Infinity War has been out for a full year, and they're only at 53,000 viewer reviews. So there is a clear difference going on here. And then the defense of that, like someone defended saying like, maybe that many people felt they needed to say something about this movie. It's like, no. No. That is disingenuous at best. That is them trying to ignore that, yeah, the people who feel like saying something about this movie are trolls who haven't even seen the movie. That is not great. This is not people genuinely wanting to put in what they thought of the movie. This is people genuinely wanting to put that they're freaking stupid. That's it. So it's not a useful metric. And it's very interesting when before the movie came out, Rotten Tomatoes like, yeah, we're not gonna have user reviews until the movie comes out. And straight up people were like, wow, we're being censored. And like, this shows that there's a problem here because they're censoring us. And that's not okay. It's like, no, you're not being censored. It's like you trying to say something about a thing you haven't even seen yet. That doesn't make any sense. So it's perfectly fine to not have viewer reviews before the damn thing comes out, because it doesn't make any damn sense. There are things in the thought process that somehow there's a disconnect, and it's very weird. And it doesn't make any sense, and it's extremely disingenuous, and I don't understand how some people don't get that. Real quick anecdote, then I'm out. I'm in a lot of Discords, and there's a guy, he compliments all the women, all of them. He says they're all beautiful, they're all pretty, they're all these things. And he's never seen an image of them. Like, some of them put up selfies, and okay. But some have never put a selfie up. But he keeps saying they're beautiful and all this stuff. And when they say, like, they're not, and he says, I'm sure you are, and all these things, it comes off as very disingenuous eventually, because they have no visual proof of what they're talking about. Now, you can argue that everyone's beautiful. That's fine, but that's not the way he's putting it. He's putting it as that they're hot, or what all these things are. Like, that does not help someone's self-esteem necessarily when they think you're just full of shit because you haven't seen them. It is not helpful. And this actually blew up with one of the girls. It blew up in a big way. And yeah, because sometimes we think we're helping, and we're definitely not. And those are times when you need to take a step back. But the problem is, how do you know? Is the big sad problem at all? Is like, how do you know you're screwing it up? You don't. That's the problem. When it comes down to the center of it all, how well do we know when we're effing up? We don't. That's the problem. We might think we're helping out, but we're not. That's a problem. And what's the solution to that? I don't know. The only thing I think can be a solution to that is the third party going like, hey, you're a dumbass. That's all I got, but then they're mad at you because you called them a dumbass. I don't know. The center of it all, there's just situations that are just dumb, and there's nothing you can do about it because of whatever reasons or factors. There's all these people who are self-righteous in their belief that they are okay to bomb this Captain Marvel movie because whatever stupid bullshit. And what can you do to stop that? What can you do to change that? Nothing really. You really cannot. Anyone this stupid is going to stay this stupid. Maybe they grow up out of it, but that's a matter of time, not a matter of effort. And some people will just stay ingrained in that. And you can also just put this argument over at vaccinations as well, with anti-vaxxers. You have the, oh my god, I'm going over. You have the 18-year-old son who got himself vaccinated, and he was like, his mom got all this from Facebook. She didn't, like, he got his information from the CDC, from medical groups. His mom got all her information from Facebook. This is why she's anti-vax, because of Facebook. And he's like, look, the medical people aren't going to reach her. It needs to be anecdotal. We need people to be able to tell stories on like Facebook and everything to say how vaccinations work out, because it's just not going to work any other way. Because if you show her the CDC numbers, you show any government numbers, she's going to say that's what they want you to think. And that is fucking insane. What can you do? What exactly can you do when people are that stupid? The truth of the matter is there are conspiracies that exist. There are conspiracies that are real, and we don't learn about them until later on. And those people, yeah, they were right. They were a very small group. They figured it out, and they were right. But that is way too damn rare. We've been doing vaccinations forever, and a lot of the anti-vaxxers are vaccinated. So what? It's very weird. They are vaccinated, and they're anti-vax. So it was okay when you took it, or you the special few who weren't able to get affected by it. Also, literally, like, millions upon millions upon millions of the people in your vicinity, just whatever state size you want to go. Let's say like 3 states over in every direction, wherever you are in America. Millions of people vaccinated, and they're not an army of autistic people or people with whatever stupid thing you think vaccines do to you. But that's enough. That's enough. I'm going over on time. It's good to get it out there. One last thing, that is, venting's important. Venting's very useful. Make sure you don't only vent to people, though. Like, make sure you talk about other things besides venting to someone else. They'll just be tired of being your vent. But venting is important. Holding it in is not so great. Having experienced my 20s, where I held it in and then nearly died, yeah, I know for damn sure holding it in isn't great. You can vent to a tree, you can vent to a friend, you can vent to whatever, but it's important to get it out there. It really is. And so these vlogs have been very useful because of the venting part of it. And whatever thoughts I have, they're known forever on the internet. And I don't think being mad at anti-vaxxers is something that's ever going to come back to bite me in the ass. I'm sure I've got some opinions that would bite me in the ass, and I don't know if I voice them or not. And it's also because you need nuance, and there's also, everyone's probably got some really stupid idea that really, with enough conversation, they would turn around on, hopefully. And this is the thing. Once again, with the people ingrained in whatever thing they're in, where they think they're so great, it ain't going to be the opposition that convinces them. It has to be someone they actually trust and believe, and is willing to give in a little bit, too. Like, I could be just so wrong on a topic. And, we can just use Terry Crews. Terry Crews has been battered a lot lately because of his arguments about parentage and all this stuff. And he just got ingrained more and more and more in it. But then he talked to his friend, a coworker at Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and she helped him understand that though he meant well, he was being quite hurtful. And so he apologized for his comments because he didn't mean it that way. He wasn't trying to be like that, and he wasn't trying to be so combative, but it ended up being that way, and he apologized. And it's because a friend, someone he trusts, talked to him and helped him understand where he was messing up. And that's the thing. Stopping any of this, the anti-vaccination stuff, and just people being stupid about whatever topic, it ain't gonna be from authority, it ain't gonna be from people shaming other people. It's gonna come from those people who they trust, helping them understand where they're wrong. People they're willing to listen to. That's what it's gonna be. And that's the son of a bitch. Need to have someone like that for that situation. Wow, okay, went way over. So that's the vlog. I had fun, hope you're watching. That's what's up, about having fun, things come by, and see you next time. I'm gonna go see Captain Marvel. And hope it's good. Hope it's good.